Look at this bridge here. What do you think it gets right? Because there's a good amount it does get right. And how about this one? Iconic. But can you tell me what's missing? And how about Dragon Bridge? Everyone knows this one. But can you even tell me how it's staying up? No, why would you suggest that? That's not how it works. Oh, you suggested it because no one's actually gone over every type of bridge in Skyrim yet? No? Well, I'm gonna ignore that because I'm solving this problem here today by showing y'all the journey that I took throughout all of Skyrim's major river systems, its seas, its caves, its dungeons, nearby islands, and other worlds. All of this in my quest to find and document every single type of bridge. Not every bridge, but at least every type. If it was every bridge, man, I would be still making this video. So where would you even start if you're looking for all of them? Well, why not Dragon Bridge right here? It's above the Karth River. It's right next to the town that is creatively named Dragon Bridge. And, get this, it's shaped kind of like a dragon skeleton. But to get a little more into the technical side of it, it is a stone single arch bridge. It has a moderate span. This section right here is called the spandrel, and spandrel is the area between the arch of the bridge and the deck. The deck, that's what's up top. On this one, the spandrel is made of vertically laid stones instead of horizontal. You don't typically see that. The arch for this bridge, though, it is quite unique. It's made up of these large stone blocks that line the bottom of it. These stone blocks, though, they're gonna be super heavy. And above that on the deck, it's gonna be filled in with stones and dirt. That's gonna be your very typical stuff. The dirt and stones here, that's called the fill. And that's actually going to help with the whole structure of this bridge because dirt and stones add to compression of stone arch bridges, and that makes them more secure. Also, if it was just stone up here, that would be way too heavy. Then, tying all of this together are the iconic ribs here. And I am such a clever little bitch because, it ties it all together literally. When I was looking at this bridge, I couldn't figure out what was going on with these ribs. I thought they were just decorative, but then I thought, oh, let me clip into the bridge. So I did, and this is what I noticed. They make a unique shape, and it can be a little hard to understand this, but I have prepared my diagram for you, so you should instantly understand this right now. And if you don't, for whatever reason, I'm gonna tell you, the ribs here, they're latched into the stone blocks on the bottom and the curbing up top. By the way, curbing, that's gonna be the walls above the deck, like what you would put your hand on. In this case, it's the spandrel, but not always, it just depends. Essentially, all these forces here, they're kinda gonna do this on the bridge. And since the bottom blocks, they're so massive and heavy, they're gonna be able to handle all of that force. So it's just gonna kind of keep it all locked in place and held up. But with all this, I still couldn't quite figure out why the ancient Nords built this bridge. My likely guess is that it serves as the major land crossing into the city of Solitude and the wider hold overall. It's gonna get a lot of traffic. You need a sturdy bridge, and I'm telling you, that's a sturdy bridge. Now, all of this traffic, though, it's gonna go to the city of Solitude, which, as we all know, it sits on its own natural bridge. And it's a cool one. It's the coolest in the game, honestly. So I thought, I'm gonna head over there, see if I can find me some more bridges. But that might have been a bit of a mistake because I ran into 4 structures and I could not figure out which of them was a bridge and which was not, at least at first. First, there was this walkway on the castle, this massive lopsided arch second, these docks way down here third, and this arch right behind it fourth. Now, the definition of a bridge is a structure designed to span an obstacle such as a river or valley, allowing a vehicle, pedestrians, and other loads to pass across. And all of these do technically kinda do that, but if you asked anyone, this is not a bridge, this is a little walkway, it's a hole punched down in the castle, so obviously it doesn't count. And down here, these are docks. Think about what I just called them. I called them docks, I didn't call them a bridge. So they are not a bridge, everyone knows this. But this massive lopsided part and this arch down by the docks, those are bridges, I think. Something about the amount of space this one covers makes it feel at least like it's a bridge. I still don't love it. It's because the lopsidedness, it makes it feel like it's just gonna slide into the ocean. It doesn't really seem secure. These columns might be some kind of internal structure or scaffolding or whatever. Scaffolding's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. It's gonna help keep it from sliding in the ocean, essentially. Castle experts, let me know how wrong I am, please. Now, I'm sure a lot of you look at this arch and you think right away, how did he get confused on if this was a bridge? But it was attached to the wall here, so I was like, maybe it's a walkway, maybe it's something else, but I still think I'm gonna count it anyways. It doesn't matter. There is some kind of shipyard on the inside here, and it looks like they built the entrance of it first and then added the deck on top right here. You can see it sticks out just a little bit. There's a little mismatch, kind of. It's covered in rocks. It's not even wide enough for a cart. Like, what is the point of this? Just expand it like 1 or 2 feet, guys. Plus, the crown of it and the crown of the arch, they don't line up. This is horribly unpleasing. It made me spill my drink everywhere just now. I can't believe I did that. But my brain at this point had been hurting a little bit from trying to figure out what was a bridge and what was not a bridge. So I figured I probably had headed in the wrong direction. So instead I decided I should head way up the Karth River and stop at any tributaries that I come along. Then once I finish that, hop over to the next river system and rinse and repeat. So with that, I headed north. And this led me to a tributary right away. And at the top of this tributary was Deep Folk Crossing, a Dwemer bridge nearby the city of Bethardams. I hate Dwemer names. This bridge, it leads to an Ethereum shard at the base of a little shrine over here. In terms of the technical things going on though, it is a deck arch. That means the arch and the deck, they're gonna be connected here. But this arch, I mean, it looks really low compared to where the water is. Any change in that water level, it's gonna be putting a ton of force on this bridge. It's just gonna wanna head straight downstream. That's why these dwarves added these towers on either side. It's gonna help secure it into the ground. But something about this overall, it still didn't feel quite right to me. I felt like I didn't have it. So I decided to head to that nearby city I mentioned and see if there's anything that was gonna help me figure this out. And right away, I found this here beam bridge. A beam bridge is just a bridge with a beam. It's pretty simple. This one here was supported by a few columns. In bridge terms, we don't call them columns. We call them piers. But this didn't really help me solve all of my issues because this bridge itself looked too big to be held up. So I was thinking maybe there were 3 explanations going on. Number 1, it's a game from 2011, but that's wrong and stupid and boring and you're dumb if you thought it. Number 2, you're a little smart if you thought this. The dwarves, they use tonal magic, which essentially just kind of tells the universe what to do. So, hey universe, keep this bridge up. But that kind of seems a little dumb and like a little resource intensive for just random bridges. It also feels like a cop-out a bit. And since I didn't really love either of these answers, I decided to head through some other Dwarven ruins and check their bridges. It was in the city of Ralbathar where I found this bridge, one that was topped with stone, but if you look right next to it, you see one that looks like a stripped down metal version. Now to me, it looked like if you took 2 of these metal versions, you stack them, And then you have a gap in the middle that you cover with a metal ribbon, and then you set some stone on the top and some stone on the bottom. You would get the exact same thing here. And also, they're metal. It has tonal magic, so I lied earlier. I think that's essentially what explains this bridge and the bridge at Deep Vault Crossing, which kind of makes it not an arch bridge. I don't think the arch is really doing much. That's why the amount of water pushing on it, it's not going to be as important to this bridge. But honestly, I still felt like I might be wrong. So I wanted to check one more Dwarven area, at least for now, and that was Blackreach. As we see, they utilized a lot of the natural bridges down here. I even found one where they added their own deck on top. I like that, but nothing really that totally changed my understanding of their bridges and how they worked. So I felt like this was enough for now, and I decided to head back up top because that bridge at Deep Vault Crossing had one feature that none of these other bridges had, and that was this little ledge right here. Now, what was this facing? Well, there are a few things that it might be facing, so I ran way off of it, and look, I was a little bit off center, but I think it's facing the general direction of Red Mountain, and with the shrine right next to it with the Ethereum shard, it makes me feel like that this overall, it's some kind of sacred site for the dwarves, or whatever their version of sacred is. Also, it looked like this dude may have fallen from the bridge. I'm not sure. There's fishing stuff nearby, so I don't know. I didn't really have time to investigate because I was already back on the Karth River, heading along this section here where I ran across 4 bridges. They, and a lot of the other bridges we'll see, will be sharing the exact same design language roughly. So I decided to call these kinds of bridges the Standard Skyrim Bridge, or SSB. Suck it, Super Smash Brothers. Now, there are some key characteristics of an SSB. It needs to be a multi-span stone arch bridge, and the arches themselves, they are going to be Roman arches, meaning they have a keystone at the top of the arch, keeping all the forces holding on to that. Now, the middle arch, or sometimes the 2 middle arches, they were going to be a bit bigger. That's going to allow for a little additional clearance for things like trees and other stuff. It's going to have these support piers on each arch. One thing you'll notice about the piers is you see how they all go into a point. That is going to make it called a cutwater. It helps you essentially with the water flow. Now, one other thing you have to protect against with the water here is going to be the foundation down below. You don't want it to all go away. Something that happens with bridges is going to be called scouring, and essentially that's where the water comes down, gets in this little vortex thing, and the foundation down below is going to get scooped out and whoop on away. That's what these scour aprons are supposed to help for, but they're a little high up, honestly. Not sure what's with that or if I'm reading it wrong. The spandrel, it comes up to form the curb, and it is a closed spandrel bridge. That means the area between the deck and the arch, it's totally filled in. The deck, it's going to be filled in with dirt and stone, and the last feature, these large stone blocks for its abutments. This bridge, I mean, it's one that had a lot of thought put into it. Maybe from Bethesda, maybe from whoever engineered it. With the Roman influences, I'm leaning towards the Imperials, so I'm sorry, Skydot. But I mean, it could be similar to like Romanesque architecture where it was influenced by the Romans and not made by them. So, Skydot, you're back in. Congrats. I mean, Todd, this would be a perfect thing to add to Skyrim too. Medieval bridge ownership? That's a hot topic. People want to know about it. People want to know. But overall, for the most part, most of the standard bridges, they're honestly going to look pretty good. Or at least most of these bridges are going to be better than this little Dwarven bridge I found here, a little upstream, outside of Markarth. What's odd about it is, you see, this one actually uses arches, unlike the other Dwarven bridges we've seen so far. And also, it's really, really, really low. Then when I went up to it and I took a look at the arch of it, there's literally no room between it and the deck. The stones down here, they don't make any sense. They would essentially be shingles, so if anyone's gonna be able to build that, I mean, I guess it's the dwarves, but hey, 2011 game. Sometimes it is the right argument, you know. But right next door was the city of Markarth. So I headed inside, and hey, what do you know? A city that is filled with waterfalls has a lot of bridges. Shocking. A lot of different types of them too. Like a stone bridge with wooden beams. This one, it's my favorite here. Then there is a wooden trestle bridge. A trestle is a beam supported by 2 angled logs. And then the Dwemer bridge. It's different than the ones before, but I still think it has some metal internals going on. You'll notice that the fill up top though, it's not the same just stone. It's some dirt and rocks and moss up top. I like it. It gives the whole place a vibe. And all of these different bridges here, I think that they are likely built by later inhabitants or it was reconstructed. I'm not sure. But you see on top, they have iron and it doesn't look like they have Dwarven metal. So that's kind of what made me think this. But the bridges, they did not stop there. I wanted to see if there were any on the inside. But I kind of ended up in prison right away because I dropped those down more on sight! And lucky for me, there was a rope bridge down here. A rope bridge, that's a suspension bridge. Just means it suspends it. But the rope, it looks like it's kind of just wedged in, so not really sure how much suspension is actually going on here. This is not up to code, to say the least. Well, I guess it's up to code for a, slave labor prison camp. Eventually I did break out though. But I wasn't done looking around in Markarth, which led me to these Dwarven ruins over here, which, I mean, of course this bridge was different again for them. It had a ribbing and the abutments were also rounded. I don't know why this bridge was so different or why deeper down in the ruins I found even more different bridges. Of course they were different, I mean, why not? They're next to an armory, so who knows? Maybe they're different because you need to carry heavier things across. I don't really know. Weird culture. I don't get them. I mean, at least they like bridges. But at this point, I just want to get back to the Karth River, honestly. So that's what I did. And right away, I came across this wooden forsworn plank structure. It's gonna be held up by a trestle system. The ropes for their bridges, they were actually secured this time into the wood. But, I mean, some of these planks, like, that's not gonna stay up, guys. You step on that wrong, I mean, I just don't know what's happening here. Inside the cave right next to it, this is where there were 2 other bridges. They were both made of sticks and like small logs all tied together. The shorter one, I mean, it didn't even have a little arch helping you stay up. Physics. Don't trust these. But right past this, that was the entrance to Skyhaven Temple. And as we all know, the Akaviri and the Riedemann Empire or Second Empire built this place around 1,700 years before Skyrim, or the Akaviri, they may have built it themselves or started earlier when they invaded. Not really sure. You can tell they're from a different culture. They don't look like anything else in Skyrim. The stone doesn't quite have that exact Skyrim blue tint. There are all these little skinny stone slabs essentially with these strips running along the underside. I think those are so they don't break when it lowers, which of course you lower it with a puzzle. So I mean, hey, maybe the Nords actually helped build this place because, you know, they love a good dungeon puzzle. Shit, they also love a good drawbridge, so hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe the Nords or the Akaviri all along. What a crazy thought that is. It's also not true. They're vampire snakes. But anyways, from outside, you could see my next 2 bridges right here. Both of them SSBs, and they connect to a little island. But, I mean, it only leads over to Skyhaven Temple over here, so I don't know, maybe these SSBs are super old? It's kind of a weird decision here. But from this island, you can see the start of the next tributary I went up. It had 3 little SSBs on it. The first one, the second, I mean, it's a bit low. It led to an orc village, but the final one, it only leads to a old Nord ruin. And I mean, I don't really know why someone's building that, or why it's maintained still. It's kind of an odd decision. Now, heading east from this island, you pass a normal SSB. It had some plants growing on the deck and the arch itself. I'm not sure how great that is. Maybe it secures it more. Past that, there's a trail that heads to Bard's Leap Summit, though. And this is one of the spots where, why did you not build a bridge? It's literally perfect for it. I mean, who's going to cross this on foot? You're gonna slip and hit your head. Now, up top, though, there was this ancient Nord bridge. And you can find this kind of bridge all over Skyrim, in its dungeons, in its towers. It's some old Nord shit. But none of them, except for this, have this view. So, it's the best one. Not sure where I was going with that. They do look like they're 100% stone though, and I don't think that the Nords, they were doing the same as the Dwemer with the hollow and the metal, so it's gonna be quite heavy. I think the center parts they're gonna help with those, like at Dragon Bridge. It's gonna kind of help distribute the force a little more evenly and keep these parts up essentially. Now, since this was the end of the Karth River here, I decided to head way back down the river, right past Dragon Bridge. And from there, I followed this extra river and found 3 more SSBs. The first 2, they were all right. Maybe I'd make some slight adjustments to the position, but this third one, no, way too low, way too low. But if you head left here, the river changes and gets really shallow. And if you follow that past this little waterfall, you have another SSB. I don't love the positioning of it. It feels like it's going to encourage a lot of scouring, but at least the next SSB in the town of Morthal, it looks totally fine. Now, the town of Morthal here, it is built on a swamp or a bog or whatever this place is, so they got to build some things out of wood on top of the water, like this little bridge here. The planks, they look like they're kind of held up by these angled parts, but some of the logs, they don't have that, and also some of the planks, it looks like if you step on them, they're just gonna fly off. So, I mean, Morthal, fix your shit, man. Come on, you're Jarl, get a new one. I did check the wider swamp for anything, but I didn't find any satisfying bridges out here, really. Which, hey, that's a good thing, because it meant it was time for me to jump to the start of the next river system, actually. And this one, it was gonna start at Lake Ilantala. But I need to come clean with y'all. I lied earlier. This was the first bridge that I actually started looking at. I realized though when I was standing on it that I didn't remember it all right away, so I thought, hey, let's go look at a more recognizable bridge first. But at this point, I had returned, and now I was ready to analyze the shit out of it. And that is exactly what I did. It was the same kind of bridge as the last one, but the supports, they look good. And the boards, they all had better placements. But then I did notice that there were these massive trees just kind of jammed in it. My first guess was that they washed in from the lake here, or maybe the people at the mill, they just tossed logs into this. I mean, that makes no sense at all. They would be waterlogged, and I think it would collapse. Like I said, though, I analyzed the shit out of it. At least the SSB right behind it on the other side of the mill, it was nice. There was nothing to question about it. A little down the river in Riverwood, there were some more wooden bridges, but these were higher. Extra points for Riverwood. And then leading out of the town, there was...
This is the bridge out of town. The path up the mountain to the northwest leads to Bleak Falls Barrow. I guess I should get back to my brother. He'll throw a fit if I take too long. Such a child.
Thank you, Camilla. I guess you covered that for me. Anyways, past this, there were 2 SSBs outside of Whiterun, and I like how they make this little right angle here. It's something that I've always noticed with it. From here, I followed this stream to the left up into the city of Whiterun, and that's where I found this cute little dinky bridge. It goes over the city's runoff right here. Somehow it's one that I've never really paid attention to or noticed before. It is a beam bridge, but the planks, they look like they're kind of just set on top. So, you walk on it wrong, it's gonna fly off. You take your cart over it wrong, it's gonna fly off. It's really an odd choice for the entrance to a major city. At least their drawbridge, it was good. It had an X under it for some reinforcement. You didn't have to do a dumb puzzle to get it down. You do have to be in the Civil War quest, and I didn't want to set up my game to get here, so I didn't do that. You can look it up if you really need to see footage of this lowering. As soon as I stepped into Whiterun, though, I realized, oh my god, how am I this stupid? This bump right in front of me is literally a bridge. There's water under it. I knew that it had all the components of a bridge, but somehow I just never pieced it together. I mean, it's an interesting bridge at least. The stones of the arch, you see they kind of alternate in length, and there's no clear exact keystone, which apparently, hey, that's fine in some styles. The pressure just goes in the middle. I don't know about the amount of mortar they put. You're gonna lose out on compression on the stones, so they're just gonna fall out. It's a weird choice. Kind of like how big this arch is for this amount of water. I don't really see Whiterun overfilling that much. Maybe at the height of a storm, but maybe the Jarl just wants to show off. And these tiny bridges by this tree are showing off. On the side, they have the same trellis as right by the tree, and I imagine that's gonna look super lovely. Like in the springtime, you get a bunch of plants on it and it's all blooming. Ooh yeah. What's a lot less nice with them is the underside and the whole support. This arch, it looks like it's a 1 millimeter thick shelf, and there's literally no distance between it and the deck. I mean, look, I even caught people stepping through the bridge. I don't know what Todd meant by this. I still like the bridge though, but I'll tell you what I don't like it as much as is right up by Dragon Ridge. Because this is hands down one of the most exciting bridges in all of Skyrim. It's an open spandrel bridge! Whoa! And, to explain, an open spandrel just means the area between the deck and the arch is empty. Plus, look under it. There are these additional beams that run horizontally. That's gonna help distribute the weight of the bridge and stabilize everything across the arches. So that way, when you get a bunch of troops or people on one side of it, the whole bridge doesn't go whoop. Plus, this is the first bridge that I saw nails in, which is really nice. What else is good shit is the top of it, because this part, although it's not for any amount of structure, it is for a large amount of aura. It kind of makes this whole thing look like it's one big ship, and the Jarl's up here captaining the whole city, which makes sense because it's built on waterfalls and bridges. You don't really think about Whiterun having so many bridges, but it do. Like this little hidden one that I missed because it was in the Cloud District. Sorry guys, I just don't get to the Cloud District very often. Fucking unfunny ass joke. I guess the benefit to living in the Cloud District though, we finally know it. It's that you get a bridge with nails in it. At least it looks better than the one outside. Real exclusive shit, Nazim. With Whiterun covered, I headed back onto the river and crossed by the Valatheim Towers. This is the only Nord bridge of this style that I saw over a river, and down past it, over this waterfall, there was a little crossing. It looked like it was used by the giants who have a camp set up right on the other side. So that's a neat little bridge. I'm glad to see that inclusion. Once I went a little further past this and over another waterfall, I turned right at this tributary. Up it, there was an SSB, but a little further past that, there was a tree that had fallen. And this tree, it was a bridge. When I got up there was some guy standing on it. He was over there threatening me, which I kind of felt like that's a little odd and a bit rude. So I killed him. Now, I did try and give him an honorable Nord burial, but this bridge had some kind of force keeping him tied to it, so couldn't. Didn't keep me tied to it though, cause hey, this is the only fucking bridge I fell off of. So it's not up to code, that's for sure. But I let the river carry me back down to that waterfall I was at, and further past. Now, there was an SSB here, and what was funny about it was I was so distracted by all the fallen trees around it that somehow I missed the literal prison exit under it, which is, honestly, it's kind of embarrassing. At least this bridge, it had a bigger center arch for all these fallen trees. But, I mean, the logs, they look like they came from that direction and not that direction, so let's go in that direction. I don't know if I'm pointing the right way. Over here, there were 3 more SSBs. The middle one was normal, but the other 2, whew, look at them. Thick, chunky, both downstream from waterfalls. Well, I mean, this one's in between 2 waterfalls, but the heft here, I think that's going to be to protect from things like falling rocks, a lot of water, waterfall dangers. Although with the placement on this one, the abutment's gonna get pounded, and I mean, the centering of it, it's not good, but I mean, maybe with the mountain where it is, he didn't have enough clearance to put it a few more feet to the left. I don't know, but I do know it at least provides a very cool view of the waterfalls here. At least it'll provide a cool view until it breaks and you die. But hey, I didn't die, so I went up these waterfalls to the lake here. And with this and the next one, I found 8 more SSBs. 1 at the top of this waterfall, 2 over by the town of Iverstead, 2 in the river between the lakes, and 2 log bridges in between them. It looked like they had fallen. Maybe don't use them, they don't look safe. I do like though how you can tell with this one, it broke right here where it fell and hit this rock. But next, this standard bridge might be literally the worst bridge I've seen in all of my journey. Why are there only 2 arches? Why is it so low to the ground? Why is it so low that even a fallen tree can't pass by? I mean, it's just waiting to get swept away and broken down. Who built this? Morons! Cheap morons, that's who! At least the next standard bridge, it was a normal one. It was over a dried up creek bed, which it looked like it used to flow into the lake, so that was cool. And then there was one more leading to Golden Glow Estate, which had its own set of bridges. Now, if you look at Golden Glow's bridges, there is this first one which you may be thinking, hey, why didn't you include that with the others? And I didn't because this and the one on the inside, they are the only single arch bridges that I found. The one on the inside, it's also much skinnier, and has a nice view of the city from right here. My thought is the people who built this place, or at least own the estate, they commissioned these bridges. Maybe they're for their own personal use. And all these rope bridges here, they're for the workers. At least the ropes look secure enough. As secure as a rope bridge can get in Skyrim. And then there was Riften, a city built directly on the water. Inside, there were 2 more unique types of bridges. The first, they were these beam arch bridges. I like how the wood, it kind of goes straight, arches, and then straight again. Although I'm not sure how safe that is. Kind of feels like it's not going to be, but woodworking people, what do you think? I don't know. I never have wood. Looks sturdy enough to me. Which makes me question all of the random nails in it though. Don't think they're really holding anything in place. I think it looks like the wood is secured into the wood. Down below, there were these 4 long boards that were held together with a few batons or cleats. I'm not sure the exact term. They might be for help walking across because it's going to be all slippery because, you know, the water. But underneath, they had these thicker beams which looked like they helped distribute a bit of the forces. I couldn't tell though if they were secured in place up here or if they're just kind of sitting on top. My guess is that they're likely just sitting on top. In total, 4 bridges of each type in the city. Now outside of the city, back on the lake, there was one nicer bridge with a boat under it. So that was really cool to see. There was also a plank bridge out here and then these. They don't feel like a bridge, but they function like one. And right next to it, there's something that I'm counting as a bridge. Yeah, I mean, they count. The support's questionable, though. Don't really know what they're doing. It doesn't look like they put any thought into it. Just looks random. And then this one over here has a ladder on it. So that's obviously the safest one of all. Now to get to the next bridges, I hopped back in the river and floated all the way back down. And I didn't hit another bridge that I hadn't seen until I got literally right outside of Windhelm, where they had this snow-covered bridge. I've personally always wondered why it's covered in so much snow, especially because when you go down the tributary to the right of it, there's a standard bridge that's not covered in snow, and you would think with the waterfall and the icicles and the freezing temperatures, there would be something, but there's not. Who knows? Maybe the mill right by it, they clean it off or something. The one by Windhelm, though, I do worry about the structural integrity of it, though, because if you look at the side and under it, there's going to be a lot of icicles, which when it melts and then freezes, you're going to have them expand, contract, creating these big gaps all throughout the bridge, which obviously, I mean, you don't want that in a bridge. That's not a good thing. So get a different fill or have someone come clean this or just do something. This is arguably one of the worst maintained bridges in all of Skyrim, honestly. Maybe the Nords here, they don't understand how to handle ice damage, because look at what we got behind us. That is the Windhelm Bridge. And do you remember what I asked you at the beginning? You want to take another guess at what's missing? I'll give you a chance. Cutwaters? No, you dingus. It's a Starkwater. A Starkwater, it's like a Cutwater, but it's for ice flows. You just make a 45-degree cut, essentially, at the face of it, so ice goes up and it breaks apart on it. And for the name, that's at least what I thought it was called. This Wikipedia page for starlings says so, and a starling, that's just the general term for any of these kinds of structures. But when you look at the citation for the Starkwater ones, they don't say that at all. They just call them either cutwaters or faces. Just kind of seems like it's a made-up term, but who knows? Maybe it's some obscure one that some engineer is going to tell me I'm an idiot for down below. But no matter what these things are called, it's not here. It's missing. Like this one source said, a lot of ice is going to be pushing up against it, and that's going to cause a lot of buildup of force here. It's really stupid. Maybe that's part of why they made these arches so big, though. The first one, it's wide as hell, and the second's a lot more skinny. It looks like up top, the fill, it's some larger stones with some dirt mixed in. There's also some extra rooms for some guards and other things up here, like this loose stack of bricks. Don't know why it's up here, but hey. And if we look at the bricks on the actual bridge itself, you see it kind of changes textures occasionally. And also there is a lot of mortar. But how old is it exactly? The Nord's famous Song of Return, Volume 19 states, "The elven captives were set to work, bringing forth stone to build in their conqueror's fashion. And Ysgramor drove the wretches even more to build higher, to lay claim to a river, so that none may pass into the interior of this land without first showing due respect to its rightful claimant." But here's the thing, guys. Nords, they're full of shit. This document, it's very clearly propaganda. I mean, go play ESO and look at this bridge, because it's totally different, along with a lot of the town. This is a place that clearly has been sacked and rebuilt multiple times throughout history. Just look at any of the texture inside the city, and you can clearly see that. Like, look at this texture right here at the Palace of Kings, which supposedly was one of the few surviving buildings. You can see that even right here, the textures change. Even at this bridge right next to it, it looks like it's a totally different style. I do like the eagles and the railing on this bridge, though. I mean, hey, these eagles, you look at them, they're they're a totally different style. Also, they call the Palace of the Kings a First Empire building, so maybe not ancient Nord. Maybe it's an old Empire bridge. Maybe that's what these old ones were. Who knows? What I do know is that if any bridge had been built here in the past by those elves, it's long gone. This new one, hey, maybe you guys, it's still constructed with forced labor from the elves, but I kinda doubt it here. It just looks like it's a later project. I mean, if you look inside the city, there's a lot of random bricks laying around, so it looks like, I mean, it's part of that larger project that they have going on overall. With the city of Windhelm now covered though, I set back out. And really all there was north of me was the whole open sea here. Which, hey, it had its own bridges, because we have these ice flows, and they kind of make their own sections of bridges. They don't overall connect, but it does kind of line a lot of the northern coast here. They're all broken apart, and I want to say that's because it's kind of summer-ish up here. I don't think it's dead winter. Either way, I wouldn't really recommend it. There's a lot of deadly wildlife up here, and I mean, hey, you step wrong, it tilts, you fall in the ocean, that's just not gonna be fun. Just like it wasn't fun, what happened to the bridge right above me? Which, I mean, obviously we can see down here, and I think we all know, this is the College of Winterhold Bridge. This bridge is not up to code. It looks like overall the bridge, it's a multi-span arch bridge. It's all made of stone. I do love their arches, how they have these two of them here. It's real cool looking at least, but hey, it doesn't look like it's really built for, you know, seismic activity. Like, I don't know, you have a massive volcano right there, so maybe a design for that. Maybe designed for plate tectonics, which, I mean, we all know Tamriel has. But maybe, then again, it was the college itself testing out its engineering department, and they caused the whole thing. At least aesthetically, it's nice and it has magic parts, so. But with that, I've covered every bridge in Skyrim's river systems. But I still wasn't done. There had to be more kinds of bridges. So I ran around the map looking for any other kind of bridge I could find. Here are the highlights from my research on this part. Rapid style. This rope bridge right here, I mean, it makes horrible creaking sounds, and whoa! That was a really convincing break I did. Hobbs Fall though, it had much better ropes that weren't going to break. More of them, they were secured into the walls here. Inside the caves of Deepwood Redbout, there was a bridge with a metal cage on it, and there were a lot of bridges up top too, which was cool. Labyrinthian, it had this one Nord bridge right here, and it was a different style. It looked like each pillar, it came up, and that the deck, it was separate from them. That would make it a cantilever bridge, which just means it's secured on one side, not the other. Other Nord sites like Sarthal had these short stone bridges, which come in these longer variants. It's very clear that they're not super stable. And who doesn't remember Bleakfall Barrow's natural bridges? Talk to a doctor if you don't remember them though. It doesn't matter if you haven't played Skyrim or not. You can find help on the sponsor of today's video, ZocDoc. I mean, it's not really sponsored, but like, sponsors. You see how clean that was? In Solstheim at the Raven Rock Mine, there was this bridge way down in it. It looked horrible. Also in Solstheim, west of the Skull, there is a rope bridge. Then in this Reekling place that I cannot pronounce the name of, it was filled with their bridges, which, hey, turns out they're really good at building bridges. Look how big these are. These are like some of the most impressive bridges in all of the game. Don't really understand how all of them work. This one makes sense. There's also this Dwarven bridge on Solstheim. It has some metal exposed, and I think it kind of backs up my earlier theories I was saying. Plus, even though the city, it got fucked up by the volcano erupting, if I had to guess, the bridge, you look at it and it's still in one piece. Very, very impressive engineering. College of Winterhold. Maybe you want to take a note or two? I mean, and hell, even other Dwarven cities here have their own kinds of bridges. Like bridges on gears that move. I guess they just can't stop making more bridges. Hell, later, they literally just use the gears themselves. So, I don't know. Let's just go to Apocrypha, the Daedric realm of Hermaeus Mora, where, oh wow, what do we know? There are more bridges. These ones are magic though, and they kinda curl out, but I couldn't get that to happen in my game, probably because I cheated my way in here. Back on the Sea of Ghosts in Skyrim, Castle Volkir here, the entrance bridge, it has these thick Gothic arches, and Gothic arches, they're gonna be two arches that essentially meet up top, so that's a nice little inclusion for the vampires, I mean. Now with Serana, where she was kept, there are these two stone arch bridges, and each of them, they have a nice decorative pier. Sorry. And then in the Forgotten Vale, there are these Falmer bridges, which, I mean, it looks like they're obviously made of bugs and massive bones, but I don't know where they get the bones from. It makes for some cool shots. But right above these shots might be one of my favorite bridges in all of Skyrim. It is the entrance bridge to the Snow Elf Temple for Ariel. This guy right here, he's their head god. This is their head temple. This is their head bridge then. And it looks like, I mean, it's too good to be true. Like, how is it holding itself up? I mean, it is made of likely massive granite stone blocks, and the deck, it is so skinny in the middle of it. But there are a few things that I think are helping this bridge out here. Namely, this strip on it, actually these three of them. And at first I was thinking, okay, these are some kind of stone. But what kind of stone? How is this bridge working? I found a few other objects with this exact same texture, like this chandelier. And I think chandeliers typically aren't made of stone, although maybe they should be. But what kind of metal was this made from? Brass, it's gonna have a very different aged look, as we can see here on this Dwemer throne in the middle of this place, which, I mean, isn't that interesting? It's the same throne as in Markarth. I mean, some of y'all, I'm sure, are saying, oh, Bethesda's lazy, but like, there's also a word wall here. I mean, you got a Nord side, a Snow Elf side, and a Dwemer side all in one. Just saying, guys, there's a little more going on here. We'll talk about that in a different video. Back to the metal. We know that this place overall, it was built in the early First Era. We also know that during that time, King Harold of Skyrim, he was using a lot of bronze weapons for his army because of the lack of steel. And, I mean, look at the color of these artifacts here that I found. They pretty much match it, honestly. I think that this place, when it was first built, it was covered in this. With it, the granite and the ice and the sunlight. Ooh, it's gonna twinkle and gleam, it's gonna be, For a sun god, you know this place is going off. Or, it's a basket handle stone arch bridge and the metal is just decorative, like it's bronzed. Either way, I mean, it's a cool looking bridge though. Also, hey, in the center of it, maybe you guys can tell me if I'm crazy and I'm just looking for a face here. I mean, tell me what it looks like, because I'm not going to say, but to me it looks... There are a few implications with this. I'll just say that. But with that, I'm finally, at arguably the most iconic bridge of the whole game. It is the Whalebone Bridge in Sovngarde. Look at the front of it. They clearly broke apart a whale's skull and stuck it underground to act as an abutment. On the other end of it, you have the tail. It's turned around and kind of dug in there. So that's going to secure it. I don't know what this part is for at all. It's also very clear that they broke the ribs on this to make the deck of it. I think that'll be relatively sturdy. Not really sure about the rope up here though. I do like how it's tying some flags. Not sure their exact meaning, but my guess is they function kind of similarly to the cairns you find all around Skyrim. They're essentially little grave or danger markers or something. Overall though, I gotta be honest, I don't know how it's being held up. It just doesn't look like it should be secure at all. Sun is right here.
Pass this perilous bridge.
Perilous indeed. Maybe, I mean, it's magic. That's my best guess. It's probably a cocaine whale skeleton, because that was a thing that Skyrim used to have. Shocking, Bethesda did not include the cocaine whales in the game. Can't imagine why. They must just hate fans. I'm not sure about that, because, damn, Skyrim has mad bridges. And here are my highlights. My favorite two bridges are the Fallen Tree Bridge and the Snow Elf Bridge. The most complicated was Dragon Bridge, and the worst bridge was a tie between the one at Lake Honrich and this other one. Also, I realized I forgot to totally mention this magic bridge. That's a little silly, guys. Don't know how it works.
And also, I somehow missed all of these bridges. Look, there were a lot of bridges.
Overall, I just did not expect this game to have this many types of bridges. I really thought this was gonna be like, there's gonna be like 10 types of bridges in Skyrim. It's like the voice actors, where you kind of wish they did a little bit more, like with the placement of them. But my thought with that is, maybe they had one guy modeling all the bridges, or most of them, or the parts of them, and then you had other people placing them in the world, and maybe there was just not enough communication on that part. Maybe just the people in the world, they were stupid as shit for building them this way. I like to think it's that one. And finally, if I'm not able to make approximately $1,200 this month, or a little more, I'm not going to be able to pay rent. And I would like to be able to pay rent so that way I don't get evicted. I also really, really want to keep making these videos full time. But with all the money, I'm trying to find a job, and with the market of it right now, it's not great. And that's where I need your guys' help. If you're able to support me through my Buy Me a Coffee page, that would be immensely appreciated. If you want to give a little less, I do have, the channel memberships that I just set up, which it's for the committee, which I felt like it was a little fun. Like, you guys are a government committee who funds these videos. You get your name at the end of the video, like at this part. But really, what's by far the most important is I just want to say thank y'all so much for watching, and bye!
Also, I forgot to mention high points. Please use them if you have them or something. I don't know how it works. It helps me a lot, I think. YouTube told me.